Conscious collaboration brings together entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders. We aim to highlight the people that embody the idea of aligned mind, body, and business. Each week, we share, discuss, and learn from the various experiences and ideas of our guest experts. Through our discovery, we find a path to an aligned mind, body, and business.
What up, y'all? This is Emily.
And I'm Lisa, and we are the Conscious Collaboration Podcast. We're here.
Spirit Fingers.
Yeah. Spirit Finders?
Spirit Fingers.
Spirit Fingers. Oh, Spirit Fingers. Yes, if you can see this.
Those are
on our YouTube. Yes, it's Spirit Fingers. That's our opening flare.
Like chicken fingers.
It all comes back to chickens for us lately. So
check in for y'all.
Yes. We thought it would be helpful to boil this down into an energy check-in. So we have a really good question that we feel will help us, but we hope it relates to you because you hang out with us. So you're part of our collective. We are asking the I Ching today, what is the present guidance for our collective in the face of algorithmic and social pressure, and what should we cultivate next to discern true synchronicity from trend-driven noise? And I think that's a good question that summarizes what we've been talking about in today's recording session. Like the pre-chat is, it's hard. Everything is on an algorithm. Like our phones are always listening. There's probably we're probably gonna.
It's true. Keep in mind, because we're always coming back. Gosh, my accent is now permanent for this episode.
Where? Yeah.
So it's always coming back. We're always bringing it back, just like the last episode, to okay, how can we approach this situation from a place of personal power? Mm-hmm. I am happening to the world instead of the world happening to me. So even though we are in control of very little, we can always find something that we can control about a situation. And that applies to the algorithm as well, right? Mm-hmm. Like we kind of want to give up all of our control and free will to the algorithm put it in my face. And there is an element of that. That is true, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And how algorithms work is we train them.
Right.
You click on one fucking cat video and you tell me what happens.
Right.
At the same time, if you need to just reset the algorithm, right? Just click on a cat video.
Right.
Click on another one.
Multiply the cats.
Multiply the cats.
It cancels out the bullshit.
It does. So, but the point is that we're not entirely out of that control. But the pre-chat that puts this into context a little bit is still having to do with trends and patterns that could be seen in the algorithm right now. And we were kind of talking about, how much of that is really indicative of, now the world is embracing spirituality and energy and astrology and tarot, and it's how much of that is truly the world embracing that more and that leveling up to the next level of mainstream. And I think there is some of that, but also how much of it is because those things
predatory or
trendy, right?
Yes.
As soon as creators, right, in this world now where influencer is a thing, pick up on this and are just parroting. I mean, you can see this in the fitness space again and again and again and again, where you'll just start to see people parroting certain ideas just because they know it'll get them likes and clicks and views. And then if you've already biased your algorithm in that direction, then you're going to start seeing inevitably more of the bullshit as well as the good shit. And how do we start to discern the bullshit from the good shit in terms of
Yeah. Well, I think it's, it definitely is two-sided, because it's like without social media, without all of the virtual ways everybody is connected, included through these podcasts, but um outside of that, there was always this, like, take it back to like the 60s, the last time it was Age of Aquarius, and everyone was talking about a oneness and a connectedness and a collectful experience. Well, that was before there was ever any of these really super in your face evidence that we're all continuing a conversation that we're choosing to continue, and that contributes to our collective mindset and because we're choosing what we focus on collectively and then multiplying that time and time again. But what Emily is saying, and what we talked about in the pre-chat, is how much of what we're experiencing and seeing in media and seeing in our social media feed is the universe communicating to us, and how much of it is just social media influencer trends, or are they, and can they be the same thing? I don't know. But I think this will help me, and I hope it helps listeners if we have this conversation, is knowing this algorithmic nature and the social pressures that we're seeing. I was saying to Emily, like, I feel like the new chain mail, like the email that used to get in the early 2000s, like if you open this email, and if you don't forward it to 15 of your friends, then you're going to have a bad 7 years. Well, now it's, if you receive this message over social media and you don't watch it or forward it to yourself, then or interact, then you're not going to receive the benefits of this message from the universe. So I'm seeing stuff.
I don't know what element of human psychology that tends to hook onto, even if you fully know better, but I would say that's a pretty solid, at least yellow flag, if there's that kind of vibe to a piece of information when we're talking about what to filter out and what to discern. And, another thought that came to my mind is like, if you're finding yourself confused about that discernment, perhaps the next move to consider would be like just a bit of radical honesty with yourself. Like, how much am I actually relying on this type of content anyway to actually get, because it should really, no matter how rooted you are in these practices and beliefs and philosophies, like it should still just be supplementary information for you out there living your life. And then that kind of being there to not, what does Steve always say? It's a guideline. It's not a template.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't go out there and execute these things that are aimed at, like, be so for real, people. These are aimed at the collective, at mass groups of people.
Right.
And the vast majority of any content that you're interacting with on social media, literally any of it, is
including ours,
in some way geared towards people being able to see it, even if that's not malicious. Like, you gotta play the game to some degree. So you just have to take these things with a grain of salt and have them be, supplemental, validating, confirming for the things that you're already out there applying in real life. And if you find yourself going, oh my God, I'm getting all this information and I don't know what to do with it. Okay, then it's time to maybe take a look at your consumption of the information. And maybe that's.
Yeah. I mean, especially generative AI that's really just regurgitating and circulating what you're feeding it on
Yes.
some level. And, there's that story that went viral about the teenager that committed suicide because she believes her AI told her that would be the ultimate demonstration of her virtue. And like to get to that point, that level of obsession and trust, and like if some generative AI, which mine have never said anything to me like that, but I'm not using them in that way. It's like a tool. Um, said that, first of all, it would be funny. I'd be like, oh, that's funny that it would say that, like what it must be hallucinating. There must be a glitch in the AI. I'm going to alert the developers. It's gone, it needs to be fixed. But there's people that are taking what their AI is feeding them as, drink the Drano to make you skinny, whatever it is.
I think that just puts a spotlight on a different problem, which is not the AI in itself, but that people, and I think we have plenty of data now to show that this is particularly applicable to young people like Gen Z
Yeah. And
people,
younger.
that there is a deficit in human connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
because we have our little AI friends, and
And we joke about
Athena's
it.
awesome. Like, I will talk with her like she's a real person.
I love my
But
little bot.
I have some really good, high quality human connection,
Right.
which I think is solely preventative. Like, it's fully
Right.
preventative from ever having, ever falling into the abyss that deep in terms of a synthetic connection, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point.
That highlights a different problem, and the solution for that would be more on focusing on, like, okay, how do we raise our kids to make sure that they're not lacking in
Discernment.
the human connection element and real world element.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so important. I just read an article and there's not a lot of research behind it, but especially coming out of the pandemic, a certain age group, now in their early 20s and late teens, went during a significant,
Their coming of age was during
yeah,
the no social
right.
period.
And there was there was a limited connection and physical touch. There were
And
no hugs
the
and
masks and the facial expressions, and it was
yeah,
a bad combination
yeah,
of
that's a
things.
good point. Yeah, I didn't even address the mask, but I think that's a really good thing to add into it. But, um, you know, a lot of those individuals that grew up during that time are not going out and making in-person connections with people or giving people hugs or, they're just very distanced and their best friend may very well be their AI tool.
All the friction, literally contactless,
Yes.
you know, contactless, as if this were a good thing.
Yeah. It makes the world a little bit scarier, I think. To get out and try to navigate on your own at that age, having had that experience. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, we are simply not evolved for that.
yeah. So take our I Ching reading with a grain of salt, and how you use the I Ching means that you use your own discernment. So
Yeah, you like how we did that, didn't you?
we did, and we try to keep our questions very general. They're related on our pre-chat and what we're hearing and what we're experiencing, but we do form them in a way that is not, it's very broad, less specific, but gives you the opportunity to connect with your higher self and see if it even makes any sense for you, and then some actionable ideas and how to move forward. So two parts. What is the present guidance for a collective in the face of algorithmic and social pressure? And it said hexagram 18, which is repairing the damage.
It's a red sky.
Fire sky. That's mountain above and wind below. And then what should we cultivate next to discern true synchronicity from trend-driven noise? Patience, hexagram 5. Looks like smoke kind of thing swirling. It's water above and sky below. So I guess it's vapor.
Cloudy.
Yeah.
Cloudy.
It's like vapor clouds, water above, sky below. That's interesting. Okay, so the first part that we're looking at is our current energy, and that's repairing the damage. And so we're going to talk about it. You can use your own discernment and fill in how this relates to you. When something is rotting, it's time to repair the damage. In the world of human affairs, self-indulgence and corruption grow like weeds in an unattended garden. They must be faced squarely and rooted out through bold action. Eliminating corruption and the sloppiness that leads to it is an ennobling human enterprise, as it clears the way for fresh new beginnings. Such repair efforts ultimately lead to supreme success. So this is a time to be lean and efficient. So repairing the damage as it relates to the present guidance for our collective in the face of algorithmic and social pressure.
It kind of reminds me of the conversation we were just having about Gen Z and the AI and human connection.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a bit of social decay happening, but yet we know that at the same time, there's a strengthening somewhere too. So it is Age of Aquarius and period 9, and things are changing at a rapid pace. And when we, 20 years from now, come out of this time period, we're going to reflect back and say, oh, that needed to happen for a reason, just like our previous episode was talking about. There's quite a bit of change lines. So when we see a few change lines in a reading, that means that you may be going through a little bit more significant change. And so we're looking at this pretty broadly, as in the current time frame, and then how can we cultivate, what should we do to cultivate synchronicity, avoiding that trend-driven noise. So, and I already said the future being patience. It says important work takes place in the day-to-day world. However, there are high priorities closer to home too. Stopping to let the world go by you as you cultivate your personal growth is of great value, not only to you, but ultimately to others as well. Just remember that when withdrawing from events, it is essential to avoid falling into the trap of sitting idly by and criticizing the actions of others. Now is the time to focus on what you can do to evolve. That's good advice.
Always turn it back to thyself.
I mean, we're feeding the machine and of what we're being served, whether that be in opportunities or whether that be in how things play out for us in a society or what systems we're building.
Your algorithm.
Right. We're feeding it. So what we do and how the important work is each of us individually first, and then how do we come together to create a better experience, not just trash. So not to go to one extreme or the other. And this is very top line. It says, you are able, with some help, to resolve problems resulting from neglect. You can't do it all by yourself, but with the help of skillful supporters, you will be able to bring about a thorough reform to usher in a new beginning. Even though support for your efforts may not come.
At the Conscious Collaboration Podcast, we are proud affiliates of Atapa medical grade red light therapy devices. Red light therapy boasts a long list of clinically proven benefits, many that I and many of my clients have experienced firsthand. You can be sure that you'll be able to train harder, recover faster, and sleep better with Atapa Red Light Therapy. Visit myatapa.com, myatapa.com, or use the link in our Instagram bio to shop with the code COLLAB15, that's COLLAB 15, for a discount on your device.
Easily, others will eventually praise you for it. So what we're doing within our own personal worlds is contributing to the greatest and highest good, like you said at the beginning. And this is not just a one person sitting in a house playing with your AI trying to change the world. This means doing the work for yourself and connecting with people that have a shared goal and vision for making things a better place. And then lastly, excessive reliance on tradition may have produced some corruption, but in its case, it is not deeply rooted. Repair can be achieved without too much effort, even though some danger is present. Remain alert to the risk inherent in change, and you will be able to avoid possible damage. Repair in itself is not a panacea, however. Restorative efforts must be watched carefully, particularly in the early stages, to see the previous rot is not contaminating them as well. So that's pretty constructive. Again, that's like a line one inner self type of reflection. So each of us keeping in check that holding on, we were just talking about this too last episode, holding on and attaching to the way things used to be, that the way things used to been, and holding on to it so strongly is producing corruption, whether that be, and it's not deeply rooted, but we can change this around by accepting that we're told and we know that things are changing and moving and we feel this rapid pace, but focusing on moving forward in a healthy way is the better way to do it versus clinging really hard to return things to the way that felt comfortable to us. That reminds me of the snake year last year, the wood snake, and shedding the skin and then trying to get back into the skin conversation. We're not doing that. So being really mindful of, contributing to.
That was my skin.
You were shedding your skin and then you were putting lotion on it. You put lotion on the skin. And then.
Getting weird up in here.
Weird. You're not going back in no matter how much lotion is involved. Patience. We get this a lot in guidance because patience, although it's a virtue, is really hard and don't like it. It's like being patient for Christmas coming when you're a kid. I don't like it. I don't like waiting and being patient. I want to control things, but that's not what we can do. So it always tells the story of the fisherman that can cast a line, but still can only wait for the fish to bite. You can't force those fish to come and bite your line. Wiggling it around is not going to make them come any sooner. Although that was a technique I was taught by my grandfather to wiggle the worm on the line. Though you may have a need to provide nourishment, it is only through patience that you can become the bridge between the fickle fish and the eventual feast.
Fickle fish.
You fickle fish.
Choppy chicken. I don't know.
What's chicken?
What's a good alliteration for a chicken?
Oh, I don't know.
Dang it. It would have been so much cooler if I had something off the cuff.
We have our off days. We're not perfect all the time.
Speak for yourself.
I'm perfect all the time. Strength in a time of trial waits quietly and resolutely. Weakness grows agitated, abandoning the efforts before the fish start biting. Periods of waiting are the most fruitful when used for quiet contemplation, and this is patience. Proceed cautiously but resolutely with whatever you are doing. This situation calls for consistency and perseverance. Waiting is an essential skill. Patience is a powerful force. Time is an ally for those with inner strength.
Word.
Yeah. In the end, you accomplish something great. Be content to practice patience. I mean, maybe in that patience, you're writing your story or your comedy sketch.
Or you're doing, okay, here's a little nugget I've been giving some of my weight loss
Yeah.
Mentors, clients,
Mhm.
Duolingo, or we can make it a brandless
Yeah.
language app. Okay, so I've been using this in the context of, because a lot of people, especially if they're used to eating quickly,
Yeah.
one of their challenges is still feeling hungry after they've just eaten, and like kind of going for more kind of thing. So my suggestion, and bear with me because I think we can apply this to a broader situation, and not just weight loss, but what I've been doing for myself and suggesting is this habit stacking of bringing in, I'm I'm such a goof. I'm such a Gemini. I'm actively studying both Spanish and Portuguese right now. I'm doing them on two different apps because they're such similar languages. So a suggestion from AI, when I was like, AI, is this dumb to to try to learn two romance languages at the same time? Like, is it possible for my brain to do this? And one of the suggestions was to do it on two different apps so that there's two different like learning modalities.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm doing, because I'm much, much more advanced in Spanish than I am in Portuguese. That seems to be working pretty well. Anyway, all that is to say, after I eat, but before I get up to go do my gentle movement post-meal, which everybody should be doing, I give it a 5-minute Duolingo lesson. So I am... because sometimes it just takes a minute for those hunger and satiety cues to like resettle, especially like I said, if you're used to sort of eating quickly. So this way you're giving it time to settle. You're not distracted while you're eating, by the way. That's for getting those satiety cues, but then you're doing something productive, right? That is, it doesn't have to be Duolingo. This could be any other, whatever, education, like kind of development kind of app or project you're working on. But that's a great place to insert the, the little 5-minute dose of that. And then by the time you're done, you have checked a box in terms of personal development. And also you've given your satiety a little time to kick in. And again, I think you can expand that out into what we were talking about, just a broad piece of advice to like put your attention on something else for a moment that's still going to fill your cup in a way, or
like that
forward.
Yeah, and it's a very embodied, intentional.
Suck of scrolling.
What made me think about the disconnectedness that people describe, and I've been hearing this a lot lately, is when you meet someone somewhere and they don't remember the commute to get there.
Yeah.
They don't remember driving to like get to wherever they are. Like they're so disconnected, which is really scary.
Language apps for driving now. I have not tried one, but they have language apps that are designed for driving now too. I think if you could have your brain engaged, at different points in the day, we know that's good for you.
Yeah. I mean, the whole reading and our collective being thought leaders and change makers is how much we value our mindset and our empowerment and our thinking outside the box and doing things differently and creating new systems, and to not be influenced by unhealthy algorithmic and social pressure, to be able to filter that out and to recognize some of it may be synchronistic, and the universe continuing a conversation, or your mind picking up on cues that are very healthy.
And I've got another point to add to that too, in talking about like how do we discern. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to do a podcast, but I think this is where podcasting comes in as a fantastic supplement to whatever it is you're actually trying to learn or garner from taking in that content. Like it's cool that we have the short form content, but I think, now we have some data to show that format is really not the best just for our brains, right, over time. So if we're really getting the most of our content that we're consuming from more of a long form format, wherein you can include nuance and, caveats and just context that makes the short form content more applicable, more realistic, and less needing to be, filtered through with a fine-tooth comb. Because you have that. So I think all of that was to say that can help in your discernment, because if you've got, creators that you like who are also doing long form, even if we're just looking at like tarot,
right?
If you've got Instagram tarot readers that you like who are also doing long form content on YouTube, like that might be a better place to really steer your energy, as opposed to just ingesting these little 30-second minute videos that have no context and no nuance. And
you're right. Because like we mentioned a yellow flag earlier, but one of the red flags is when you look at the entirety of someone's content. Say we're just using Instagram, for example, and it's all the short form reels that pull you in, that are really being popularized right now, or getting that visibility, especially to attract a new audience. But when you look through it, I found like some of the red flags are like you said, they're just picking up on one-liners from other people and repeating them and using the music tracks in such a way that there's not any meat behind what they're saying. There's not their own unique perspective that connects it back. And they're certainly not crediting the person that gave them that to begin with, but that's a good way to look at that too.
Yeah, because it's like, are you actually teaching me something or leading me to a place where you're going to teach me something? Or is
Are
this
you just using a popular word?
Yeah, like...
Yeah. That's a good one to filter it out. Yeah. I mean, I think that your mindful eating tip for weight loss is a good one that carries over, and just also like how we're using the different devices or reading books or watching media or putting ourselves in different rooms of conversation, all of these things.
Yeah, quality of consumption counts outside of food. Very important in food, but it's also important to everything we consume, including media and social media. What is the quality of the information you're consuming? And can you have a little bit of low quality info? Sure. But maybe look at it as in the same way as nutrition, as like a 80-20, 85-15 kind of thing. Maths.
Well, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. And I think like just remember sometimes things are just for entertainment purposes only. And if it helps you get through your day, what is spirit fingers?
Spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Close with the fingers.
Yes. Whatever we can do to feed our minds with as much positivity and constructive
On
acceptance.
that note, I just have a recommendation for people.
Yes.
A show recommendation that my daughter.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah.
You guys should watch it. Okay, so you remember Legally Blonde?
Yes.
There's a series now called Elle.
Yes, I like that. Ainsley watches that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Fantastic. So many 90s facts and Easter eggs.
Yes.
The guy, I can't remember his name right now, but those of you who are our age and above will remember that movie, That Thing You Do.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all the rage in the late 90s. Remember?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. So the guy who was like the main singer in the band, I cannot remember the actor's name right now, but he plays the dad in Elle, in the Elle Wood show. And so it's just full of night. They have this scene that was just so well done in the episode we were watching last night, and there was 2 coinciding parties happening. There was one at the kids' high school, and Elle was karaokeing "I'm Just a Girl." Okay,
Like
and
it.
whole kind of crowd is going along with that, and it was juxtaposed with this other scene where the parents were having a housewarming party, and the dad was on the guitar playing Wonderwall, and all the adults were around also kind of flipping back and forth between these 2 scenes, and I just thought it was so great.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that is a good recommendation.
I don't know the actress's name, but she's doing a good job with like the mannerisms and the voice and everything like that. So I just thought,
oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I do enjoy that. Like, I think that's a healthy thing to watch with the kids, and like it feeds that nostalgia. And
made a big deal out of her being a Gemini in the first episode. Like they made a whole thing about it. She's like, you are a Gemini, and you do care, and you can make friends with anyone. And
yes,
like, preach, mom.
Yes,
anyway,
yes, I like that. To the point.
In talking about content to consume, that's a good piece of content.
That is a good feel-good recommendation. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
But yes. Well, if you have a tip that you would like to share with us inside of the Conscious Collaboration Collective, our closed and private Facebook group, on things that you do to feed your positivity, drop us a message in there or send us a message here. Wherever. Holler at us. Can't wait to hear about it. Thanks for listening to us and adding to our conversation. And if that didn't connect with you, feel free to delete.
Smash that delete button.
Delete. Never happened. We won't even talk about
Don't delete us.
Stay. Stay. And we'll talk to you in 5.
Talk to you in 5. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank y'all so much for listening to our podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends so they can join our circle of collaboration on this journey. You can find us on Instagram at Conscious Collaboration Podcast, on Spotify, iTunes, and Audible, to name a few. Please join us next time for another deep dive into how you can live life in more alignment, mind, body, and business. Send us your questions and comments in our DMs or email us at consciouscollaborationpodcast@gmail.com. See you in 5 minutes.